Alright guys, Abdullah Ashraf here, and in this lesson I'm going to show you how to build out a campaign inside Taboola. The more essential part of the process is actually optimizing your campaign. So setting it up is just to getting started and working out exactly whom you should be targeting, and after a good $10-20 in spend, you now know who you should actually be targeting, so then you can optimize that campaign and test it for another further 24 to 48 hours, and that's when you're getting the real results of your campaign. So pay very close attention and take notes. I'll also attach a little cheat sheet on building out campaigns so you don't forget what I share with you today, just in case you don't take notes. Let's get straight into it. So once you set up your Taboola, now when you set up your Taboola, I will have showed you in the previous lesson, how this goes down, and when setting it up, the campaign manager setup is a bit different than what you see in front of you. And actually, when setting up your account, you just go through that first campaign setup, and the moment you get approved, you just come inside the campaign management and then you pause that campaign. So when I was applying for Taboola, and you're not really applying, you're just signing up because everybody gets approved, I set up this campaign over here, set the budget, etc. And the moment I got inside my account, I got my details, I came in here and I paused that campaign. And now I'm going to start a new one today to show you how to build out a campaign inside this very platform. Okay, so you'll do the same thing. You'll come inside here, you'll pause your initial campaign, okay, you delete it, whatever. We're not going to be using that again, and we will now create a new campaign. So for starters, we'll pick a name for the campaign. Okay, so I've already got my article in place, and is to do with the most powerful asset every human owns. Now under the branding text, this is where we'll insert our domain name. Okay, so you can just leave it like that, or you can add the ending to it. So I just had the ending, and our marketing objective is either brand awareness or web engagement. So we will go with the web engagement. As you can see, they both do similar thing, but this one is kind of more of what we're looking for, as we want visitors coming over to our site and engaging with our content. Now start is as soon as reviewed, and end is when you stop it, unless you want to set some dates. The campaign schedule 24/7, I want it to run. Now the target location, choose your countries. So I've seen the tier 2 countries work pretty well, and some of them even give you a profit, but for the sake of the test, I want to do only tier 1. So we'll take some tier 1 countries and we will plug them in here. Okay, and we'll just stick with that for now. These countries should do us. As for platforms, we will leave all platforms. As I said to you, there's different demographics that probably do work for you. For example, you're running all these countries now. I could run a tier 2, and I may find 24 hours from now the tier 2 countries turn out better than the tier 1. It's all a numbers game, and it all comes right down to testing. And so you run a bit of money for 24-48 hours, you see what comes in. Based on that data, you optimize and then run the actual campaign, because at this point you now know who's really engaging with your campaign and who wants to be a part of the fun, and you just go ahead and target them directly. But for this campaign, I want to focus on a tier 1 only. I'll create a separate campaign for tier 2. Okay, so tier 1, and the platforms I'll stick with all. When the data comes in, I'll see if I should remove either of the platforms or set up different campaigns for different platforms. And we leave that there. The block publishers, this is optional. These are people you don't want where you don't want your content to be presented. Okay, if you have experience, once you start getting data in, you'll know maybe where you don't want your content to be presented. You can take those publishers and plug them in here. Your audiences, at this point you don't have any audiences. As you start setting up campaigns and generating traffic, your data will be collected itself inside Taboola, and you can build audiences with them. With the lookalike, once again, it's a similar situation. Once you start actually collecting traffic and data, and I show you how to set up the Taboola pixel on your site, then we can start looking into these. And the campaign clickers is a cool retargeting feature Taboola have added inside their platform, so they keep track of all your data, all your visitors to all your campaigns. And if once you get enough X amount of clicks on a certain campaign, you can retarget those very people directly using this option right here. So campaign clickers, then I'll come here, select campaign, I'd select the campaign that people have clicked over the past 30 days. So whoever clicked on this, I'll retarget them again with another article, but this obviously would limit you to your reach if you haven't, shown enough people your content. Now the marketplace audiences, this is what we will be using to set our targeting when starting off. And for the sake of my article, it's the most powerful asset every human owns. This really applies to, business people. All right, so let's do advertising, marketing, advertising. Let's do business operations. Let's do business news and business plans. Okay, and then we can do finance. All right, personal investments, investing fund. So we can just test out. We can do that. So we can test out all the audiences here. We've got a lot of people in the mix, so we can be sure that we will get traffic. And we'll leave that as that. And our bid amount, we'll start off with around, we'll just go with 0.1. Okay, we'll go with 10 cents. All right, for me GBP, just 10 pence. We'll go with that, and we'll let it optimize itself, and then based on the data we're getting, may go for lower or more. The goal, we won't be setting a goal, and our spending limit, we'll probably run an entire campaign rather than a monthly flight. And so we will put on a £10 for this campaign. Okay, so I'll do a £10 run. Once it's all spent, I will retest on the new data and run another £10-20. Now the ad delivery, we can do it balanced, so it's spread throughout the day. As you can see, we've got strict over here, and you can set a daily cap that it only spends this much for the day. So that's just fixed really, but the accelerated is it spends it as fast as possible. So I will be going with the accelerated. I do want the spend to get spent up fairly quickly. And as for the creative traffic allocation, I leave it as optimized, so for all the ads I create, all the traffic gets spread evenly throughout. The tracking, we can get technical with this, but for now we'll leave this as this referral source, and this we can then track inside our Google Analytics. We're not done just yet. We need to take our article and we need to plug it into the campaign. Okay, so first we take the article, plug it in, then we need to edit the ad title and image. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the image as that. It's got me is branding myself, so that's okay. And the most powerful asset every human owns. So I'm just playing around with the ad titles. So if we just take, for example, I take that URL, I add it in there, and I can play around with the title. So the most powerful asset every human owns, we can leave that as that. We'll leave the creative the same. We're just testing different titles. So because I set the optimized setting, all the traffic I get will be evenly spread between the creatives I have set over here. And that's really the campaign setup in a nutshell. And in further lessons, I'll talk to you more about optimizing. Get going with it, get your first campaign set up, and let the data do the talking. That's me, Abdullah Ashraf, for this lesson. I look forward to catching you on the next one.